welcome back, folks. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Menelik, and I'm the balance trader. This is my weekly outlook on indices. As of current, I don't trade forex. I only trade S&P 500 and Nasdaq. So here we're looking at DXY, the dollar index, and this is a weekly chart. And then, usually when you're speculating price, you do it based off dollar, especially when you're trading US future. And in this case, what I'm looking at, last week we dropped back into a weekly fair value gap, which in what is telling me that okay, we're expecting price to go higher. While I was looking at price last week, it traded back into monthly fair value gap, and then it started to reject lower. I was looking at the 103.553, which was traded through the week before last week, and then last week it traded back into a weekly fair value gap. So I am expecting to see price push higher. So going into this week, I want to see bullishness in the dollar to reach back above 104, this level. Then once it gets to this level, then I'm going to look back into this monthly volume imbalance. That was a level that price rejected aggressively at the beginning of this year. So I want to see, once we trade above this, will there be a willingness for price to want to reach out there or to reach up there? So because my bias on DXY is bullish, my bias on indices is looking bearish as of now, because right now, last week we traded back into a monthly fair value gap on S&P. So right now we're on mini S&P. I'll trade it back into this fair value gap, and you can see the aggressive retracement back into an old fair value gap. And what is interesting is that it didn't trade below this fair value gap. Body of the candlestick above it, and aggressive rejection back into an old fair value gap. So what I'm looking to see this week is to see this fair value gap acting as an inversion fair value gap, as DXY is going higher and trying to take out this high. I'm expecting some kind of like price retracement from this level. If I'm looking from this level, the expectation that I'm looking at this week, going into this week, is to see if price wants to get to this level, which is a 44.50. Which is a 44.50. It is a weekly consequent encroachment that I may want to see price come back into. If it does, then I'm going to look for this volume imbalance to see a continuation to get back here, which will require a lot of liquidity. It has to be aggressive enough to kind of like override all of this week. What is interesting is that here we do have a fair value gap that I traded to as of last week. So that's kind of give me much more confirmation and much more confidence in being bearish on S&P as we're going into the week, and it kind of like solidify my interest in the dollar. Does that mean that it's gonna that means that the dollar is gonna get here this week? That I don't know. That is something that I will determine as we're going through the week, as I do my analysis, as the days unfold. Today's Monday, bank holiday, so nothing really happened in the market. So we'll see tomorrow, Tuesday, as price action form, and maybe Wednesday we can see a better profile to trade on. I'm expecting the similar thing on Nasdaq as well. When we are talking about the weekly, Nasdaq did trade back into the monthly fair value gap, and then we did the same thing that I did on S&P, a strong rejection back into an old fair value gap. We closed at the high of this fair value gap as of this week, and this is gonna be a daily order block. I'm expecting a lower movement in price We may see a consolidation as this is a strong level to break, but I'm expecting some kind of like retracement from this level for price to come down back into this consequent correction when it comes to Nasdaq. So on the daily time frame, as we're looking at DXY daily time frame, these are levels that I want to look at as we're looking at the daily. On DXY daily, there are a couple of levels of reference. I want to see how DXY react around this volume imbalance. As we can see here, we have two volume imbalances that overlap each other, which can signify a kind of consolidation for the week. So there may be a chance to sell consolidation this week as we do have two volume imbalances that override each other. But due to the aggressivity of next week, I'm kind of like just hoping for an expansion above this high, this way. But I will probably see a retracement into or below the first volume imbalance, and maybe later on during the week, Wednesday, Thursday, we can see some aggressivity for DXY to close up there. Those are the three levels that I'm keeping my eyes off. So number one is gonna be the 44.72.75, then which is a consequent correction of this. So what I will look out for, I'm gonna look out to see if we do break below 45.0675. If we do break below 45.0675, I'm gonna expect price to get down to 44.75. And if it gets to 74.75, I'm gonna expect it to get to this level, which is a 44.50.25 or 45.50.00, which is actually a consequent encroachment of a weekly candle. So those are the three levels I'm looking at: the 45.75, the 44.75, the 44.72.75, and then the 44.50. Those are the levels that I'm looking at on daily time frame when it comes to ES. And then as it comes to Nasdaq, my expectation is probably a return into the consequent encroachment of this candle, which is going to be the 15,197.75. So I'm expecting at least a retracement to that level as we are going into the week. As you can see here, we just took out an old daily high, trade back into a fair value gap, about 50% of the fair value gap. And here, going into the week, I would like to see if Nasdaq trade and close below 15,415, and if it does that, then I'll aim for 15,197.95. Those are going to be my target for Nasdaq as we are going into deeper into the week. Yeah, so this is it. This is my weekly outlook on indices and the dollar. Hope it is insightful, and we'll see how the week unfolds. I mean, those are just speculation. Those are just speculation. It can happen. It cannot happen. But those are my biases going into the week. So this is how I will look for trading the market. And unless those things forms, unless we get below this level, I wouldn't take any sell trade. And unless I see any significant move on DXY, it wouldn't give me the confidence to take any of these biases. Because if, let's say, we open Monday, right? Oh, well, Tuesday, which is today, tomorrow, it slams down all the way here, and then Wednesday it continue. I'm not gonna go looking for sell profile on ES or on Nasdaq. I will be changing my perspective accordingly. But as far as I'm concerned, I'm looking at, I want to see price get to 104 on DXY, and I want to see price get to 44.50 on S&P, and then 15,197 on Nasdaq. So that's the video. Hope you like it. I hope you enjoy, and I hope it is insightful. Until next time, my friend. Peace and safe trading.